Marie Lemblin, a French student studying this year at Marivaux College, woke up to the news of the Belgian terror attacks, knowing her sister was at Brussels airport at the same time as the attacks.
I panicked and I immediately called a friend.
She learned her sister was all right, but just barely.
They heard the first explosion and then the second one. And her boyfriend actually wanted to go to the restroom, and that's what saved them, because they were about 15 meters away from the second explosion.
Here in the heart of Lenoir City, one man's heart is heavy.
I have nieces that go to school in Brussels, and they do take the subway.
Jan van Get owns Lenoir, a Belgian southern bistro. He grew up in a city just 10 miles outside of Brussels and has family there.
Called my parents, everybody was okay. My nieces were stuck in school because they closed down all the schools. They were on lockdown.
ISIS is really ramping up its attacks in Europe, and I'm not surprised, and I unfortunately think there'll probably be more.
Terrorism expert Krista Wiegand is an associate professor of political science at UT and faculty fellow at the Howard Baker Center for Public Policy. Despite the attacks, she encourages people not to avoid international travel.
It's really hard to live with this idea of constant fear. I mean, that's what the terrorists want. So if we give in to that, then they're winning.
With family in France and in Belgium, Lemblin says these attacks and the November attacks in Paris were personal, and now her sister has a message.
She wants to pay tribute to the victims too, because she's not hurt, she's fine, she's alive, and some people are not.
The terrorism expert says while these events are horrific and the casualties are tragic and shocking, terrorism attacks are still statistically rare and relatively random, and she believes we shouldn't let terror guide our decisions. Now, if traveling internationally, this terrorism expert does encourage people to, of course, be vigilant and aware of surroundings, but not to cancel those travel plans.